Yo, welcome to another video. We'll be running through Bloodborne today with our MICOLASH. It's a very interesting weapon. It's a rapier and a gun in one, and I see this weapon a lot in people's D tiers. And we won't be running through Chalice dungeons, obviously, because it's just going to make it very unfair. And as for setup, we're going to start, we're going to bait this wolf up the stairs towards Yusufka. You don't have to do this right now, but we'll just get it over with. So when you're up here, you want to tuck yourself in between these two pillar-like things, and just bait him. If he doesn't do the grab attack, just roll away and reset him. We want him to do 2 grabs, and it'll force us into this out of bounds area. Just reload so he goes away, and walk down up until just one more. Yeah, up until this, and then hit a sharp left or sharp right. I mean, and after that, stop moving once you get into the wall. You should be on top of this. Hopefully it looks familiar. From here we can go up to Yusufka, but first we'll just open up the shortcut just in case we die. We don't have to do that all over again. We can go up towards Yusufka's clinic, the main area, and grab the Kaner's summons. The REBORN is in Kaner's castle, and we'll have to kill a couple more bosses to get to that. So for Gascoigne, we'll just kill him any way we want. We just need to get past him. I gotta work on this fight a little bit more, but just parry him, and he should go down relatively fast. Yeah, that was my second attempt on the first, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. And we also want to kill the Cleric Beast. You could also run down to Old Yharnam, kill the Bloodborne'S Beast, but I just find this one a little easier. We don't really need echoes like last time. Now in Cathedral Ward, we want to get through the gate and go towards the Witches of Hemwick area. And we also want to kill the Witches of Hemwick, because if we don't, yeah, we need to kill them to get access, unfortunately. No matter though, they're a pretty forgettable boss. Yeah, and they go down. Now we can finally go towards the Castle Kaner's and acquire a weapon of choice. Over here, we're just going to sprint through. The REBORN is in the first area. I forgot it was there, so I was exploring the entire place looking for it. But we're also going to grab the Evelyn. So we're going for a bit of a Kaner's look here, so we might as well use it. We don't even need it, to be honest, because the REBORN has a built-in gun that works pretty well. The Evelyn is found at the top part near the near the shortcut with the elevator. And we're gonna get our REBORN up a lot. We can upgrade a lot now because we do have access to Canehurst, and we can get a bunch of chunks and twin shards. So yeah, that's pretty much the setup. That's all. So we're gonna just kill all the bosses, or most of the bosses. Bloodborne'S Beast, very standard fight. Fire paper, beast blood pellet, and pungent blood cocktails. You should get them. Just don't get stuck like I did. This was a bit of a rougher Bloodborne'S Beast fight, but he does go down fast. At this point, I think I did have a +6 weapon, so it goes without saying that we should destroy him. As for damage though, this weapon does do pretty decent damage. I was quite shocked. The thrust attacks work well against kin, and especially since you can buff it up, you can stack up a lot of damage. And for once, we do go to DARKBEAST PAARL early, and even with that, he goes down insanely fast. Yeah, 2 hits for limb break is insane, especially when you haven't entered Yargo. The range though, as you can probably tell by now, the range is not great. It's a rapier. It suffers from the same rapier problems as all of them in this game. You can only hit one target at once, and this rapier especially has some pretty abysmal range. It's hard to free aim, because it's not a swipe, so you're gonna miss. There's a higher chance of missing. But yeah, DARKBEAST PAARL goes down very fast. Okay, we're gonna start to take on VICAR AMELIA, and pretty simple fight. Just go towards her left arm, break that, then just go towards any other limb, break that as well. Preferably her leg. I kind of mess up. If you take out her leg, she'll stagger down and you can get a riposte. yeah, it does get a bit rough after that first break because I just keep bouncing between the legs. Also, I've done this mistake in 2 videos, but Beast Blood and buff up before you trigger the fight, because then you can just run straight up to her, and when she's doing her animation, you can hit her. But after you get 1 knockdown, it just becomes really easy. With this strat, you don't need to pick up the numbing mist, assuming that you have a pretty upgraded weapon. This is, I think, still +6 at this point. Maybe +7. I might be forgetting. I think it was +7. You could get a +8 technically, but I just didn't want to make it too much easier. Shadows of Yharnam. You can't hit multiple of them at once. You could use that running attack at the start, but even though I thought I hit them, I didn't hit them. Just parry one guy, and we do insane damage because it is a blood tinge skill build, so we use parries a lot. Yeah, you can see me use the weapon, not the Evelyn, to parry. Yeah, it works pretty well. Sometimes you do forget that you're in transform mode, and you shoot when you're trying to charge attack, but that's a small issue. I think the reason why this weapon does end up on a lot of people's bottom tier lists, or on the bottom tier of their lists, is because it's just one weapon, and while other weapons are like 2 weapons, this is more of like a weapon and a gun, rather than a smaller weapon and then like a heavy weapon. So it's like one playstyle you have to play that way, which yeah, it kind of sucks, but it's not a terrible damaging weapon by any means, and with this setup it's not hard to acquire at the start anyways. You don't want to see wrong, that fight sucks. Oh yeah, back to what I was saying. I do think this weapon does get a bit too much hate. It's a very nice weapon, to be honest. I never struggled any part of this game with it. You don't need to run to chalice dungeons, grab some insane blood gems like you gotta do for like the Moonlight Greatsword. That one wasn't doing too great damage. I think I'm doing more damage right now than I was on the Moonlight Greatsword just because I didn't have the right gems. You can find so many good gems in the base game, or good enough gems in the base game, should I say. That you don't need to run to chalice dungeons with like a basic standard damage weapon like this. And yeah, back to the bosses. The one Reborn, just chain hits. The strategy I found is not my strategy, but just try to bait them towards the stairs and run and buff up during your descent down the stairs, and then just run straight into that middle tentacle part. And yeah, it took what, 2-3 hits to knock him down. You can just chain the entire fight that way. I used to have a lot of trouble in this fight actually before I found this method. And now this is like one of the easiest fights in the game, assuming that you can knock him down in like a decent amount of hits. Even then, it's still pretty easy. And yeah, he goes down. A few more terrible bosses to go and we're done. We can get to the meat and potatoes, should I say. And yeah, MICOLASH, I sold the bag twice. For some reason, because of this weapon's thrust attack and its smaller range, you just miss sometimes, and then he'll do the Ogre of EBRIETAS and he'll hit you, and then it'll stun you too. That one was my fault though, but other times I'll hit him, I'll be locked on, I'll hit him, but he just moves slightly and it won't hit him, and he'll counter hit me, which sucks. Celestial Emissary, thrust attacks against kin enemy. I didn't even buff up and I still did insane damage at this, towards this boss. Not much tips I can give you if you've played this game. You know that this is probably one of the easiest bosses, if not the easiest. EBRIETAS, it's a kin enemy. It's weak to bolt and it's weak to thrust, so we do a lot of damage. Just remember to buff up. Try to bait some attacks. Don't dodge every attack and go for hits. Just try to bait some. That's the method I found the best. This fight's honestly pretty. I don't want to say it's easy, but if you're patient a little bit, not as patient as Rom, but if you're patient, you can bait out the easy to hit attacks and take down this guy relatively easy. Just watch out for the charge attacks. He'll lift his arm up, and after that, don't lock on. Just lock off, take off your lock on, and run sideways. Yeah, the damage hasn't really let me down at this point. That's what I said about the charge, just lock off and run sideways. You don't even need to run, you can just dodge and you'll miss him. Yeah, back to the damage. It's honestly not very disappointing. I'm surprised that it's doing this much damage. I thought it'd be pretty bad, but no. It does get a lot of hate. I wish it was a little bit more interesting, But yeah, it's nothing too bad. Nothing. It's definitely not a D tier weapon. I see it a lot on D tiers. I would say it's more of like a C plus B. And yeah, back to Virgo. Pretty standard fight. Just try to, like, I don't even know what tips to give. It's always the same fight for this one. Quite disappointing boss fight, but nothing new. Just run counterclockwise when he's in the shadow form, and just try to get behind him and attack. The range, when he's walking away, you do get out of range and you miss attacks, but it is what it is. We'll clear up some of the side bosses now. AMYGDALA, because of the range, it's actually quite hard. Even when you're choosing him, you won't be able to hit a charge attack because of the range. So, not cheese, or actually try to use the strategy I like, the one where you stand by his tail, and he'll jump up. If you try to charge attack, unless it's perfectly timed, you won't hit it. At the end though, we do give the Evelyn some love, take him down that way. Ooh, and about the weapon. It does have blood tinge scaling, but that's only for the weapon part, the transformed gun. It doesn't do anything to the damage, that's purely skill. And it's, I think, S tier, so it is pretty good. MARTYR Logarius. We parry him, and we do a lot of damage with our parries. I did sell the bag a few times with this guy though. It's been a really long time since I've fought him. Yeah, it's choppy. Yikes. My original plan was actually just to do like all of Canehurst, not including the Executioners, like a Canehurst Knight kind of build with the Chicago. But like everybody knows, the Chicago is a pretty good weapon, so there's really no point in doing that. And also, I was planning on doing that if the Rider Polarizing let me down, and did not let me down. And yeah, you're probably wondering why Gehrman's not here. I didn't think I'd kill him first try, so I didn't record, and I killed him first try and I forgot to record. So here's the Moon Presence. Nothing disappointing, pretty standard. Once again, it's been a while since I've actually fought the Moon Presence. I just sometimes don't even bother with it. I didn't buff up again, so if you buff up, you'll see a lot better numbers. And as for gems, I forgot to include them in the video. I'm sorry for that, but what I did, I got the best ones that I could find on the ground. Mostly, I think all of them were from Murgo's, were from Nightmare of Mensis. And then I didn't farm them, but I did kill the Winter Lanterns just a few times to see what I could get, and I got some pretty decent ones, so I just rolled with it. I think you could get some better ones in the base game. Maybe if you run through the DLC, you can farm the Winter Lanterns there, or even Chas Dungeons and get better gems there, but yeah, that's all good. Yeah, this weapon did not let me down. I highly recommend trying this weapon out. It's pretty easy to get in the early game, and even then, mid-game, all you gotta do is get to the Castle Canehurst, and yeah, it's right at the start. You could have used a more interesting moveset, but it's like, it's a gun rapier combo, like you can't say much. It's better than the rifle spear. The gun works, the rapier works, they both do damage, the gun parries, nothing to complain about. It's a cool looking weapon as well. Yeah, that's about it for that run. I want to do Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 1. I preferably want to do Dark Souls 2, it's more of an interesting game when it comes to runs. I also have another idea for Bloodborne, but I don't want to milk Bloodborne out too much, so I might just drop another Bloodborne video and then just take a break from Bloodborne. I might not even do ones, I might just do rankings or video essays or not even Soulsborne. I'm into metal, so if you want to watch metal or me talk about metal, then just let me know in the comments.